Hello and welcome. I'm Jenny Hall. Thanks for joining me for another card making tutorial. By many requests, I am happy to bring you the little bird from Bird Banter stamp set. I made a card for OnStage display in November of last year that featured quite a few different birds, and the most requested card has been this parrot. So I'm hoping to recreate the process of how I created the bird. So I'm starting off with a piece of watercolor paper, and using basic black archival ink, I have stamped and quickly embossed with clear embossing powder. Once that is heat set, the embossing acts to trap in the colors in the individual sections of stamped lines. For me, that is one of the easiest ways to make sure that my coloring doesn't go all crazy and run off the paper. It stays inside the embossed lines. Very easy to achieve success. I'm using the aqua painter filled with tap water. When I color with watercolor, I like to first squeeze the barrel just a bit and add some clear water to a particular area before I add the color. This helps me to allow the color to spread out over the paper in a certain area, and then the colors can blend together easily. So I believe it's also known as dropping in color, and it's the wet on wet watercolor technique. Not much complication to it. There are some technical names, but basically this is what works for me. I've chosen to use a few blue colors that tie in with a piece of the wonderful designer series paper. Sweet Soiree, I believe, is the name of it, and there's many different rich colors, but I wanted to go with blue because I have seen a blue parrot. In fact, my son Trip really likes to look at the parrots at the zoo because they always talk back to you. Using different blues, or using even just one blue in many different color concentrations, allows there to be a connection with the colors, but in different ways. So the color on the bird's belly is not going to be as dark as maybe the color on the back side of the wings. It's all a matter of tying it in together throughout the entire project and making sure that you still give some variation, but you want it to look natural. So that's how I achieved success with the parrot in my previous project. I'll put a link on my blog to my previous project so you can take a look at both. So be sure to go over to my blog at jennystampsup.com so that you can take a look at that other bird card as well. Adding in some green highlights is going to tie all of these colors in together. I did use some very light gray on the face area around the eye because using gray allows it to appear white but not appear uncolored. That was also a very key part. The sentiment is also from Bird Banter, and this stamp set has some of the most clever birthday greetings that are so unusual. So this one reads out, "Still suspiciously young looking, I see." So I thought it would be really funny to include on a card, especially for a guy. Maybe, you know, guys are more apt to laugh at their cards. I'm mounting all of this wonderfulness on a thick whisper white card base, and I'm just going to choose a spot for the sentiment, and in the middle just worked out easier than on the side and offset. I'm adhering the bird with some glue dots because that will allow him to stay in place, and liquid glue, as you know, is not my friend. It gets all over everything, so glue dots will work out well. I have two leaves that were colored back in October of last year because I did a tremendous amount of work with this stamp set for the on-stage display, so I thought I would include them in this project. The colors kind of go together, and it's just a little something extra, a little pop of color for the eye. Noticing that the tail feathers are suspended and I don't want them to maybe get caught on the envelope, I made sure to secure them with a piece of Stampin' Dimensional. The inside of the card is very easy. I thought about putting another bird, but that little heart stamp is just too cute to pass up. So I've stamped it and used a couple of different generations of ink to be able to give a little bit of a variance. And I'm attaching this to the inside of the card with small amounts of liquid glue so that it doesn't get all over my hands and the rest of my supplies. Thank you so much for requesting special projects. I'm happy to bring them to you, and I hope that you send me some more. I would love to hear your thoughts. Thanks so much for joining me today. I'll see you in the next video.
Thanks for watching the video. Have a good day!